Don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, it's Mike here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it's time for another ArtsyTrio collaboration with Gina Ahrens and Bea Grob over in Switzerland. So this month it's Gina's turn to curate the mood board for, I suppose, going into September. And we're now on to, actually this is the 12th. So we'll be doing it a year now. So can you believe it? It's been a year since we started doing these. So what I'll do is I'll turn over to my other camera and show you what Gina's curated going into September. Okay, so this is Ginas Moodboard. So as you can see, we've stepped back in time a little bit. So the moodboard is called I Have a Dream, which obviously is a quote from Martin Luther King. And there's pictures of the Beatles in there, and there's some kind of 60s and 70s, what I would class as psychedelia, or late 60s, early 70s psychedelia in there too. And there's a couple of kind of like lady, like an abstract, impressionistic, I suppose, painting of a lady stood there, and also one in a white kind of like flowing dress. Could, I suppose, be Twiggy in a flowing kind of 60s stroke early 70s dress. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my inspiration from kind of like the colour scheme, which is those oranges, that really sort of late 60s, early 70s orange geometric-y kind of colour scheme. So that's what I'm going to do to start off with. So I've dug out of my Dina Wakley paint collection only because I'm trying to use them up. Most of these paints, there's not that many left, not much left in the bottles now, so I am definitely trying to use up so I can either replace with something else or use the space for something else, because I'm quickly, very quickly running out of space here in my my tiny little craft room. So I've got, paint wise, I've got lemon, I've got tangerine, I've got sky. It's a very 70s name, isn't it? And I've also got Sedona. Sedona only for a little bit of darkness. Now I always get into trouble with this one because I always say Sedona. I think it's somewhere in California, but it isn't. I know it isn't. Don't leave me a comment. It's in Arizona. There you go. I did learn my lesson. So those are the colours that I'm going to be using in my background today. So what I'm going to do, sorry, I can just hear a four-footed friend running about. Hello, darling. What are you doing? You gonna come in and see? Are you gonna come in and sit with me? Eh? He's just woke up. No, he's gone again. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some white gesso, and I'm going to put some white gesso down on the background, and while it's still, hopefully still wet, I'm going to feed in just a tiny bit of that lemon, just so that I get a kind of really pale lemony creamy sort of colour. So let's start with adding some of that gesso down now, and I'm putting quite a bit on. I don't mind if I don't go right up to the edges, that's fine. Don't mind leaving it a bit of a white border today. So here in the UK it's a bank holiday, national bank holiday, August bank holiday weekend. Traditionally this is the weekend where people do DIY stuff to their house. May bank holiday and August bank holiday weekend is traditionally house maintenance, decorating, garden, that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to put some very small amounts in, not a huge bit. But Ian's away still. He's still away at his steampunk show in Whitby. So I'm still on my own, enjoying the peace and quiet. Now that Mum and Dad have gone home, because they've been visiting for a few days too. They've been with me since Wednesday last week. So it's nice just to be able to actually just do what I need to do or what I want to do. Mr. Bentley's not enjoying the quiet. He likes it when there's lots of people about, because, you know, he gets more attention that way. Personally, I prefer the peace and quiet. Yeah, much prefer the peace and quiet. But hey ho, you know, these are the crosses you've got to bear. Especially when you share your life and your house with someone. Okay, so we've gone from a kind of stark white to a bit of a creamy colour. I'm hoping the camera's picking that up. But it's going to be one of those things where I'm not going to be trying to do everything exact today. I'm just going to clean my brush off there. I'm using my Harry Potter butterbeer mug that I got from the Harry Potter experience last time we went. It's only made of plastic, it's not glass, so it's just useful as a little paint pot. Okay, let's grab some kitchen roll. That'll do. Okay, so put the water to one side. Right, so I'm going to give that a quick blast with the heat gun. Okay, that will do. So I need some sponges, some stenciling sponges. I'm going to run over to the west wing again. There we go. Grab some scissors. So Ian's just sent me a text from the show that he's at saying that he's hit his target for the day, so he's very happy. So today's his last day. He's coming home later on tonight. Okay, so that's the gesso out to one side. So I'm going to start off with the tangerine. And then, there we go. It's got quite thick because it's old. When did I buy this? There's no date on it. I've had it for quite a few years. Since before I moved into this house, that's how old it is. Okay, so I'm going to use this stencil, Circle Squared. It's one of mine. I haven't used it for a while. So this is very kind of 70s kind of geometric-y, which is just what I want. And that's going perfectly over the top of the lemon colour. I'll just move that slightly because the paper's a bit buckled. Let's get some more paint out. But I don't mind if it moves just a tad. There we go. And a lot of people like to stencil with brushes. I personally like to do it with sponges because I like that kind of diffused edge that you get. You don't get a perfect edge. You can kind of swirl it around a little bit just to get a bit of an edge if you want. That'll do, I think. Yes, like that. Okay, so we've got that one. I'll give that a quick blast. Okay, so we've got that. I've also got another one of my stencils. This one's called Split Circles, which I'm going to lay over that side and we're going to bring in some of that Sedona. Oh, that's a bit more wet, not quite as thick as the tangerine, but I don't think the Sedona is as old as that tangerine. I'm going heavy in some areas and lighter in others. I love that kind of diffused, not quite there, but just a little bit kind of effect that you get in some of the circles. So I'll lift that off like that, and then I'm going to twist it, and I'm going to drop it down here and add a little bit more down here. Again, heavier in some areas, lighter in others. Just want that kind of diffused fade away. And then up to this one there, just so it kind of gives you a little bit of continuity. There we go. I'm liking that one, so that can get put to one side as well. And then finally, actually, I need to get that dry first. I'm getting carried away with myself. Okay, so what I need to do is just clean up these bits of blue paint, these bits of orange and red paint, so that I can put the blue paint down, because I don't want the paint to mix. So I'll have a quick tidy up, a quick clean up, and then I'll be right back. Okay, had a bit of a clean up, so now I've got the sky blue. Very nice. So for the next one, I've got this, it's called Dotty Wave. So I'm going to just feed a little bit of that blue going that way, starting from about here. It's not going to be too much. I'm probably better off doing that than trying to pounce with it. The holes are quite small in this stencil, so it probably works better if I do it that way. It'll just collect on the edges of the holes, and then when we pounce up and down, it should just diffuse them. See, just like that. And then I shall turn it the other way and put a little bit of a twist going through there. Not the sort of colour scheme I would normally go for this, but you know, we're doing a, yeah, it's filled in a bit. We're doing a bit retro, so that's fine. Gina's obviously got a hankering for the 70s or the 60s. I think that is just going to be about it actually. I don't think I'm going to do any more. Put the stencil to one side. Right, have another quick tidy up and then I'll be ready to add my main focal image onto the page. So quick clean up and I'll be back. Okay, so that's now nice and dry. You could see I was just testing it with my hand to make sure that it hadn't, there's still no wet areas. So now that I've got my kind of 70s inspired background done, I'm going to include my main focal point now, which is going to be this fabulous young chap here. So this is the sort of chap you would have seen packing people's bags at the end of a supermarket checkout in the US in the 70s, particularly with that hairdo. Absolutely fabulous. So I'm using a spirit-based glue, Yoo-hoo, because I don't want it to wrinkle much, and I do get a certain amount of wiggle room with spirit glue, whereas you don't with ordinary kind of PVA school glue kind of glue. You don't tend to get much wiggle room at all. Once it's down, it's pretty much grabbed, whereas this you do get just a few seconds to do a bit of a wiggle room. Excellent stuff. Okay, so what I want to do now is just kind of consolidate it a little bit. So I bring back the white gesso and a small brush, and some water somewhere. Is that water? Yes, it is water. Just mix the water in with that gesso, and then we can just add some. It just kind of brings that background to the fore a little bit, and I can just wipe off that. There we go. It doesn't have to be a huge amount, just a small amount of splattering brings that kind of white border in, and that light colour from the background back into the foreground again. There we go. And we've got just a little bit. There we go. That gets rid of that. So again, let's get it dry. Okay, so that white has kind of dried now. That's the word I was looking for. It's dried, yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come back in now with a black pen. So the reason I'm coming in with a black pen is because there's a lot of darkness in the cutout of our checkout boy, our bagging boy. So what I want to do is I'm going to just add a little bit of a wavy border, kind of just all the way around the outside. Yeah, that should theoretically have. There we go. Create that frame. And then I'm going to go around again, just to kind of break up the line. It's almost like a frequency wave. I always do like a smaller one first, and I always go over again with a bit of a wider and with peaks. So we've got that black around the outside. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit more. And then zoom back in again. Not zoom back in, but just focus in again. There we go, that's better. You can see his face again now. So what I can do now is maybe just go around and add a little bit over crazy border. Just around our chappy. I'm just doing a wiggly line. Just go around his Bob Ross hair. Okay, so all I need to do now is to add some kind of quote to the page. So I'm just going to let that sit and cool for a bit, because I can just feel a bit more of that heat just coming off the page where I just dried the white. So I'm just going to let it sit for a second or two and then I'll be right back. Okay, so here's my quote for my page. Let your freak flag fly. Actually, I think we'll put it down there. Which is a quote from the song If Six Were Nine from Jimi Hendrix, published in 1967, but was featured in the film Easy Rider, I believe. There we go. So, which is a perfect quote for an art journal page which celebrates that kind of late 60s, early 70s boho, hippie, kind of psychedelic era. Of course, I wouldn't know anything about it because I'm far, far too young. Stop laughing. It's not polite, it's not big and it's not clever. Right, okay, so just to finish off then, I'm going to just go, hopefully this little Japanesey pen will allow me just to go around, just to break up just to make it pop a little bit. I know it does pop already because it's got a white background, but just in case. So there you go. And there's a sentiment that I can get behind. Let your freak flag fly. Because celebrate the uniqueness of the person that you are. There you go, that's exactly what it means. So that's it for me. So don't forget, if you would like to have a go at the ArtsyTrio collaborations once a month, then you can pop across to our ArtsyTrio Facebook group. There's the on-screen thing there, but there will be a clickable link in the description area below. Don't forget, Gina and Bea will also be doing a project based on Ginas Moodboard. So if you, I will include the clickable links to their YouTube channels underneath this video as well. So that's all from me for this month. I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget, you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.